Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that is about smoking cessation. That is the ability to stop smoking, even if it's something that you've been doing over many years. Now, the client that I was working with brought this up in a very interesting way because clearly she had certain emotional associations with smoking, and she finally revealed that she had a lot of shame associated with smoking. She started smoking as a teenager almost as an act of defiance and rebelliousness against a very domineering, controlling mother. But it was kind of like a secret form of defiance because if she did that publicly, it would cause the very issues that she was trying to avoid. So it was almost a way of taking control of her own life. What was interesting, though, is the emotion of shame. So although she was smoking, she clearly didn't take pride. She hadn't accepted that this was a desirable thing for her to do. And therefore, shame was actually the leverage to free her from this particular habit. And I would say habit rather than an addiction because she wasn't smoking, huge amounts, but it was a coping strategy and it was a habit that was linked to certain context and behaviors. One of the key things that was interesting is that she revealed that she didn't smoke when she was pregnant and she didn't smoke around her children. And that gave me a clue as to an element of emotional leverage that we can tap into. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is leveraging shame for the purpose of creating a change and using the idea of children and particularly herself as if she was a child to highlight that deep down she knows that this is an undesirable habit to have and that she doesn't need it anymore. Now, if you're listening to this, of course, this hypnosis session was created for someone else who had children and did have shame linked to smoking. Not everyone does. But if you do have a desire to quit smoking and you don't feel that you can do it by yourself, there will be a link nearby to this recording in the show notes that you can book a completely free 30-minute consultation call with me to explore what it would be like to work with me directly to help you quit your habit and to make a change in your life and to utilize your current belief systems or your emotions to facilitate that change. But you never know, this session here, even though it was created for someone else, might be useful for you. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. As you exhale, close your eyes and just enable yourself to start drifting into a sense of deep relaxation. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to get a sense just how important your breath is. Breathe in and breathe out. And I want you to get a sense that there are certain things that are precious. Certain things that your body truly needs. Continue to breathe in this resourceful feeling of relaxation and exhaling tension. And I want you to get a sense that you can live perhaps for a week or two, maybe even 3 without food. Hold that thought, breathe in and breathe out. And you can survive maybe a few days without sleep as you breathe in and breathe out. I want you to get a sense that depending on your surroundings, you might survive a day or 2 without water. And then I want you to get a sense that you could only survive a few minutes without oxygen. I want you to take a deep breath in and just hold that breath. Not exhaling, just holding it there until you reach a point of feeling like you need to breathe. I want you to exhale without breathing in. No air in your lungs, but not breathing in that inward breath. Hold the exhale until you really desire to breathe. And when you feel like you absolutely need to take a breath, let me know by nodding your head. And take a deep breath in. And I want you to evaluate the most important organ in your body that is necessary for you to have the most important need in your life. That without oxygen and air, you're dead in a few minutes. And that your lungs are the most precious resource that gives you access, this incredible ability to just breathe the air in, and your heart can take the oxygen from the air and put it to every cell in your body. I want you to get a sense of how magical that is and how it doesn't work without your lungs. I want you to get a sense that if your lungs are one of the most valuable things to access what you need the most, then doesn't it make sense to protect what's valuable? Wouldn't you protect other valuable things like your home, your family, things that you've spent a lifetime earning? And none of those things are as necessary to your life as your lungs. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to get a sense that lungs last a long time if they're treated well. I want you to think back to your childhood when you had something that could have lasted a long time, but because you treated it badly, a lack of kindness, a lack of respect, it just didn't last very long at all. And once you link back to a memory where you know that if you don't protect and nurture something, it stops working in the way that it should, just let me know by nodding your head. Continue to breathe in and breathe out. Each breath giving evidence that without breath, you can't survive. As your body relaxes, your imagination becomes more active, more vivid. And I want you to imagine that you are in an empty room. And I want you to see children in this room. I want you to see your children in this room. your children in this room at a young age, perhaps maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. I want you to recall what they looked like back then. And then next to them, I want you to see what you would have looked like at a similar age. Almost imagine that if you were the same age of your children, what that would be like, and then just see them all in this empty room. I want you to get a sense that a stranger is coming in with a lit cigarette. I want you to imagine that you are trapped behind bulletproof glass and you're seeing the children being approached by this stranger, and this stranger is forcing these children to breathe in this smoke, to inhale the cigarette, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just watching as your children at a young age are being abused in this way. And I want you to get a sense of anger and injustice and frustration that something wrong is happening. See it happening to your children, to see them coughing, crying, getting upset. And then see it happening to yourself at that young age too. Just an innocent child being forced to smoke a cigarette. See the disgust on their face. They're coughing, crying, they're upset. And I want you to get a sense of where you feel that anger and injustice in your body, and just point to that location. Just notice where you feel and what you're thinking. And then I want you to get a sense that this stranger has left and these children are there, upset, shaken up. But then I want you to see that you have a lit cigarette in your hand. You are now alone in this room with these children, your own children, and you as a child. And this time I want you to force these children to smoke that cigarette. Only it's not anger you're feeling anymore. See their traumatized faces. Smell the smell of that cigarette smoke. I want you to inhale some as well. Start smoking some, and then you force them to smoke some, and get a sense of the shame that you feel. A sense of this being wrong. As you look down at the cigarette, feel that you're bringing it to your lips. Inhale it. And get a sense of shame and disgust. As you inhale a breath of that smoke that you know is damaging your lungs. Force every single one of these children to smoke. And feel that sense of shame growing inside you. And when you feel utterly ashamed by this, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to rewind everything. Rewind it to before the children were even in the room. There was no stranger, and you didn't do what you did. And I want you to go to each of the children and let them know that they are loved unconditionally and that you will protect them. See the faces of each of these children as you tell them that you love them unconditionally and that you will do anything to protect them. And until you reach you as you were the same age, a child. Tell this child that they are worthy of love, that you love them unconditionally, and that you would do anything to protect them. I want you to hug all of these children, and then allow your children to just disappear in that room, so you're left just with that younger version of you. And I want you to tell this child that you're going to give her the love and protection that you didn't receive when you were the same age. Make a promise to a child, and there's only one way to agree a promise with a child. And I want you to stretch out your little finger as they stretch out their little finger, and do a handshake, that pinky promise with just those two little fingers, as this promise to love and protect is now enshrined in a promise between you and a child. And if all parts of you agree that you will love and protect this child, knowing that this child is you, let me know by nodding your head. And then I want you to allow this child to be part of you, to feel like the child is inside you, that the child's lips are your lips, that the child's throat is your throat, that the child's lungs are your lungs. And then I want you to imagine that you're back in your house, and perhaps you're bored, you've got time on your hands, and I want you to see a packet of cigarettes. I want you to see them, and perhaps you start saying to yourself some kind of justification that it doesn't hurt to have just half or one. And I want you to feel that same feeling of shame start to grow. I want you to create an image of that childlike version of you being inside you, that their mouth is your mouth, that their lungs are your lungs. And then I want you to walk outside. I want you to light the cigarette. And as you bring the cigarette to your lips, I want the feeling of shame to amplify, to increase. There's something about the smell that just reminds you of perhaps of a first experience of a cigarette where it was disgusting. Thinking of the image of you as a child being forced to smoke something you didn't want to. As it gets closer to your lips, I want you to feel that this is harming that inner child, that innocent inner child within you. That you are breaking a promise to protect, and that's where the shame is coming from. And at the point where you make an absolute decision that you will not do this to yourself, let me know by nodding your head. And then I want you to throw away that cigarette. And then imagine throwing away not just any cigarettes you have in the home, but anything you have connected to them, any ashtrays, any lighters, anything connected with the old identity of you being a smoker. Throw that away, because that's not you anymore. There is a new version of you, a version of you that chooses to give yourself what you really need. A life that you deserve. A life free of shame. And a life that you're willing to love and protect. And when all parts of you are ready to step into this new identity, an identity where you accept that you used to smoke but you don't smoke anymore, when all parts are ready, I want you to see that version of you that is a non-smoker and feel that you're stepping into that version of you, that you become that non-smoker. And nod your head when all parts are ready to step into that version of you that is a non-smoker from this point forwards. And then step into that version of you. And feel a weight, feel like it's been lifted off your shoulders. This shame that you've been carrying around for a long time, feel that you've released that shame. And I want you to get a sense that any ideas that you can just have one or half, I want you to create an image in your mind of a Venus flytrap. And think of yourself as a fly. There's something alluring about the smell of a Venus flytrap to a fly. It convinces itself that it's fine just to kind of have a sniff, have a wander in, and then accidentally touches a fine hair inside the mouth, and that doesn't do anything, but the second time it touches, the trap closes and the fly dies. And from this point forwards, the idea that you can have half or one is a trap, but you now know it's a trap. You have a duty of care to yourself and to that inner child within you to love and protect, and you will take those responsibilities just as seriously as you did when your children were young and you refused to smoke near them. When all parts are ready to fully integrate into this change and to be vigilant about any traps that could get you back towards that old identity, let me know by nodding your head. From this point forwards, not smoking will feel infinitely better than that shameful version of you that used to smoke. Smoking was not the solution. It was a coping strategy that you didn't need, laced with shame and laced with an echo of a time where it was an act of rebellion that you don't need anymore. Life has moved on and you have moved on. And the idea of not smoking feels so much more appealing than the idea of smoking that is connected to shame and the unhappiness of the past that you want to move away from. I want you to leave that place and find yourself back in your body, listening to my voice firmly in the present, but taking all those changes and this new identity with you. You were never a smoker. Smoking is just something you used to do, and you no longer need to do that anymore. You are someone that values vitality, life, the love you can give to yourself, and a future free of shame, much more than any one cigarette. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that you're all fully in the present, listening to my voice, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.